25 minutes, I decided, let's do an episode. Welcome to HBRV Lifestyle, the podcast. I'm the host, the Honey Badger, here to give it to you straight and transparent about the RV business, as well as other things. Unfortunately, I have to change some things on my Camping World video because YouTube flagged it for some copyright claim stuff, copyright infringement. It's nothing Camping World did. Camping World didn't do anything. This is my fault in particular because I was around an area that was playing a lot of music, and I tried using a little bit of music in the recording, and it screwed it all up. So I have to redo the entire Camping World video. It will come out probably Sunday morning. So I just want to let everybody know that it's nothing Camping World did or anything like that. It's just I try to incorporate some music and stuff like that. Hey, Theo. And yeah. So what we're going to talk about tonight is going to be a little different than the Camping World thing. I want to give everybody an update on the Brinkley situation. And it's not going to be necessarily against or for anybody. It's more just information. So apparently there are some Brinkley dealerships. So we had the Fanboys mad at me. Now we have Brinkley RV Dealerships pissed off at me because apparently the video I did on the main channel is starting to pick up some traction. 5 days, 13,000 views and climbing. It's pretty much going through a viral cycle right now. And apparently it's pissing off a couple of Brinkley dealers enough where I've gotten some phone calls about it. And I'm going to say they're not rude, but I could tell they're not happy with the fact that I'm reporting it. And three of good friends of mine in the industry, or good acquaintances of mine, basically told me that a couple of these dealers posted on their social media and on their website about Grand Design's lawsuit. So if you don't know, Grand Design RV there are attorney groups attempting to put together a class action lawsuit against Grand Design RV for all the frame problems. Okay. So it's all over the internet. I mean, it's all over Facebook. It's all over Instagram, Snapchat. You go on any platform, including TikTok, YouTube, it's all over the place. Grand Design RV, class action lawsuit against Grand Design RV. Hello, Larry. So it appears the guys that are carrying Brinkley and not Grand Design are basically, now that Brinkley is finally the zebra's stripes or the cheetah's spots have finally shown themselves, as far as they're not that great. They're not even close to the best. Now that those spots have finally been revealed and revealed publicly, now instead of looking at the brighter picture of things, and the brighter picture being Brinkley RV is handling it. They may not be handling it the way people would want them to, but I believe full-heartedly that they are, and I've said this several times in the last 2 weeks, I believe they're taking care of it, and they're taking care of it in a pretty quick manner. So instead of going down that road, they're going down the road of let's air out everybody's dirty laundry. Okay. It's like the insanity of morons is just too much. You have all these fanboy Brinkley RV people, these fanboy Grand Design people, and all they want to do is create drama and deflections over what? Especially the Brinkley fanboys. Look, if you're just willing to get down on your knees and do with Grand Brinkley RV, I get it. But when the company that you are on your knees worshiping is handling a problem that they have acknowledged publicly, why are you bashing people? If you're a dealership who sells Brinkley RV, why are you airing out Grand Design's dirty laundry just because Brinkley is having a big problem? That, by the way, they're handling. Why are you so worried about it? Are you worried it's frame failure? I've had a lot of people tell me that have no skin in the game that they believe there's stress cracks from the lack of flex. Lack of flex. Not frame failure. Are you afraid it's a frame failure problem? If that's what you're afraid of, maybe you should open up both your ears, listen to the entire conversations before you make dumb comments on people's videos, Facebook posts, whatever the case may be. Stop being a worshiper of false idols. It's not healthy. It's not healthy at all. See, people talk shit about Forest River and Coachman and Keystone and Jayco. You talk all this head about the big manufacturers. But yet you don't see fanboys down on their knees worshiping, those big manufacturers. You just don't. They either are pretty much set with buying something from one of those companies or they hate them, one of the two, depending on the experience that they had with the rigs that they've bought. You don't see a lot. Here's the interesting part. You don't see Alliance RV or Genesis Supreme RV or Intech RV or New Camp or Northwood Manufacturing or Outdoors RV. You don't see fanboys attacking me or attacking anyone else when there's a post or news that is negative towards that company. So why is it realistically only Brinkley RV and Grand Design RV fanboys? Why? Are you paid? Are you afraid your paycheck's going to go away? Yeah, New Camp's great. So the question really remains, why are you worshiping a false idol? Why are you sitting there wasting your time on something that is being handled? Why not, and goes for the dealers mainly, why not acknowledge there's a problem, acknowledge the customer service has stepped up, explain that they've stepped up, explain what to look for? Why not be transparent about the problem? Transparency makes people feel as if you know what you're talking about and you're ahead of it. Yeah, exactly. It's all tool bag and sense of humor. Absolutely. Adventures with PC Wabash. Absolutely. Right? Nothing's perfect. Get over yourselves. Really. Take your little Facebook groups that you're manage to make sure that every little post is perfect before you allow it to be posted on your Facebook group. Turn that sumbitch sideways and stick it straight up your candy ass, because you're being stupid. Both the fanboys and the dealers, you're being idiots. There's no need for all this hostility over a company publicly admitting there's a problem and publicly admitting they've sought outside help to solve the problem. There's nothing wrong with that. That is actually what we would hope would happen. Did it prove? Maybe you're upset because it proved that you overpaid for your unit because of a name. So be it. You overpaid and you're getting good customer service. Did you get a better product than a Rockwood or a Jayco or I'm sorry, a Rockwood or a White Hawk or a Cougar or Alliance or any of these companies? Absolutely not. You didn't get any better of a product overall than what's on the market today. But you got a good customer service out of it. You know that when this crack occurs, it's going to get taken care of. So why are you so upset? Pop a gummy and relax, drink a beer, enjoy the ride. Shit. I mean, it's gotten out of control. Now, the other real thing I want to talk about, and actually I got more time than I thought because I just got a text. I don't have to do my, I have a reservation for a pickup at 8 o'clock, but they just texted it's 8:30, so I got some time. Yeah, I mean, Brinkley is way overpriced and way over pitched. It is not the greatest thing since sliced bread, but it's not a bad product. It's not even close to a bad product. Even with the cracking of the sidewalls, it's not a bad product. Period. It's just not. So the thought pattern that I think the entire industry needs to take is, I think that the industry needs to take another look at how they react to social media. Okay. Great example of this, okay, is you have, we'll use Forest River as an example because they're easiest to pick on, okay? I pick on them a lot, but they're easy to pick on, okay? Forest River decides that they're going to merge something together. The social media output that Forest River puts out, and that's including Coachman, Primetime, etc., Palomino, on a scale of 1 to 10, their social media abilities is probably a 2. Keystone, probably a 3. Intech RV, New Camp A-Liner, probably a 1. I was talking about this with the guy that runs the dealerships I've been helping out. Social media presences is the reason why Grand Design blew up as an independent and why Brinkley has blown up as an independent. Same ownership group that started them, right? Pretty much, plus or minus some folks. Social media makes things blow up and trend. And if you don't have the longevity to it, if you don't have that consistency of a presence, both positive and negative, and when it's negative, having the reaction time and the reaction process, okay? So like for example, we're going to use Brinkley here. Brinkley RV has the big cracks in the sidewall occurring. Front of travel trailers, toy haulers, fifth wheels, etc. Okay. They throw the spin doctor, Nate Goldberg, out to spin it into something that is complete bullshit. But if you look beyond the BS, you look beyond what they said that was not true or was lacking more information, beyond that, they went down the road of, we're seeking outside help so we can better service everybody. And that's going to cost them a pretty penny. It's not going to be cheap. Now imagine if Forest River had that kind of social media presence, that kind of social media marketing skill. Don't you think they'd probably be big? A lot of their brands would be bigger. Okay. For example, there's a product that's under a Forest River division, a fifth wheel, actually 2 fifth wheels, that are more affordable and better quality built than most, but they get zero attention. And the reason why they get zero attention is their social media presence sucks. It's horrible. The GMs of their plants suck at social media. Okay? No offense to most dealerships out there. The only reason why Bish's RV and General RV are as successful as they are is because of Josh the RV Nerd and Matt's RV and Towable Reviews. Obviously, they both don't work for they both work for separate companies. Josh with Bish's, Matt with General. Imagine if Bish's didn't get Josh. You go look at the actual Bish's social media, it sucks. It's freaking horrible. My 14-year-old daughters, who know very little about RVs and very little about marketing, could do a lot better job than the grown adults that they have working at Bish's. And that's not to say or talk crap or talk negatively about them. It's Josh is their spokesperson. He's a spokesperson for a lot of the manufacturers. But just imagine if Josh didn't have the presence he does and didn't have the skills he does, where would Bish's be today? Where would some of the manufacturers be today? Way behind everybody else. You go look at Matt. Well, I'm not a fan of these guys, but look at Matt. Matt does a really good job, especially on the motorized product, where the Tiffins, the Thors, the Newmars, they suck at social media. They are horrible at social media. Where would half these brands be if Matt and his team didn't have the skills that they have to do these videos? It's just a fact of life. We don't do anything special. I don't do anything special, but I'm constantly evolving what I'm doing on the main channel to bring about information to consumers. And one of the biggest comments and emails I get, because there's a lot of products that I do that Josh and Matt don't do because they don't carry them, okay? And all I ever hear from folks is, wow, you do a better job than the manufacturer does. I'm pretty sure Josh gets a lot of folks that comment, email, and come up to him and tell him that he does a much better job than the manufacturer does on their own product. I mean, you got to think. I'm not a big fan of corporate RV dealership YouTubers. I'm not. Just a fact of life. But you have to appreciate what someone like Josh the RV Nerd brings to the table for a RV dealership. for a RV manufacturer, for the RV community and the RV industry as a whole. I like Matt way better than Josh. No offense to Josh. That's something personal with me. Josh is kind of the inspiration behind my main channel and this podcast. Both from, and everything inspiration with him to start all this actually came before Bish's bought the whole situation. Once he went to Bish's, my feelings about what he does and how he does it very much changed. There is a big gap between what he used to do and what he does ever since he joined Bish's team. That's something personal with me. I don't expect people to feel the same way. I'm not going to talk shit, nothing like that. I like Matt better because I know Matt's been put in a couple awkward situations. And the difference between Josh and Matt, in my opinion, is both of them were put in a really awkward position with the Grand Design frame failure and frame flex thing. And from my perspective, one of them made a complete ass out of themselves, giving a percentage that everybody knows was bull crap. And the other one, like, just completely, like, let's not even talk about that. Let's ignore it. So yeah, I like Matt a lot better. But it doesn't mean that we can't appreciate and respect what Josh does for the industry and what Josh does for the community as well. With, you know, just because I feel a certain way about it doesn't mean we shouldn't appreciate and like what he does. You know, there are big YouTubers, big dealerships, big manufacturers. There are presidents and CEOs of companies that watch this podcast, listen to this podcast. And it doesn't mean that they like me or that they like my style or don't think I'm a jerk off. It is literally they appreciate my candor, whether they agree with me or not. Like, for example, okay, notice that there are a couple of YouTubers that talked massive shit about me when it came to the supposed motorhome sales ban in California. By the way, I got an official statement from the California Air Resource Board. We're going to talk about that on Monday on the main channel. Their official statement is really interesting. Okay. But there are new diesel motorhomes, new gas motorhomes arriving at California dealerships daily. And we're in March of 2025. So the whole thing about there was going to be a motorhome sales ban was complete bullshit. Complete malarkey. A fiction, a falsehood, of a fugazi. It was all baloney. It was all a scare tactic to get clicks and money. And there was only one person that covered it fairly beyond myself. And that was Jason from RV Miles. He covered it fairly. He covered it pretty well. The other people, jerk-offs. That's why I don't join their Facebook groups. I was invited to their Facebook groups, and that's why I got out of them. Because it's like, you know what? I'd rather stick to myself. Because I don't care what people think about me. I could care less. But I wasn't wrong. I was right. I was so right. But nobody will give me credit for being right. But you notice they stopped talking crap. And you notice that their videos and their subscriber counts for the people that BS'd people to death went down dramatically. Thank you so much for the super like. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. It's crazy how Our lives are so intertwined with stupidity and dumb comments. Look at our look at the politicians in Canada and the United States. Look at the pettiness. It's like two 5-year-olds fighting in the sandbox over who gets to eat the sand. You know, I understand. Look, I'm not here for free, okay? My goal is to grow both the podcast and the main channel so I can have a nice little passive income. Pass on my knowledge. Yeah, there's a lot of people. So I got an email 2 months ago. And I appreciate that, Theo. 2 months ago, I got this incredible email from a dealership. And it was an owner of a dealership. I'm not going to tell you where. And the letter basically put together that I'm the only one out of the entire YouTube spectrum that told 100% truth about the motorhome sales ban. I backed it up with facts. I backed it up with real information. And I backed it up by actually reading the real law, not some baloney horse manure that somebody came up with to get clicks, views, and more ad revenue from YouTube. Okay. So if you don't know, check it. I'm not going to mention the name of the YouTuber, but this YouTuber happens to have a history. They're a full-time RVer. They've never worked at an RV dealership in their life. They never even worked on a coach in their life. And I've had several people that have caught them living in hotels rather than sleeping in their actual coach. And they decided to make a YouTube video. But if you look at before that YouTube video got made, their viewership count went dramatically down. They were averaging 50, 60,000 views. It went down to where they're getting 2,000, 2,100 views. But a lot of that wasn't because of their content. A lot of that was because back, 6, 7 months ago, we were in the middle of an election. Everybody saw a big dip in views. I saw a huge dip in views because all the political content was put on the forefront. It was their time to shine as political content creators. So this lovely YouTuber, like this lovely YouTuber did a couple years ago about the generator sales ban in California, decided to make a video about a law that I talked about in 2022. So if you go back to my main channel, you go back to December of 2021, I did a full spectrum video of how motorhome sales were going to be affected by a couple of new laws that were going to affect in 2022. And then another law that was going into effect in 2023 that I did a follow-up video for in December of 22. This person decided to pretty much take the information that I made in that video and the information that the California Air Resource Board put on their website and all 5 other states and decided to make everybody panic. Then they took a letter from Newmar, which Newmar are a bunch of morons anymore because they're under the Winnebago flag. And then Newmar decided, we're not going to do business because of this, and that. Okay, that was one manufacturer. They turned that one manufacturer's letter and bits and pieces of a California state law that was passed by a bureaucracy and twisted it into motorhomes can't be sold in California starting in 2025, as well as 5 other states. Then, since this person went viral with over 250,000 views for the first time in a year, 250,000 views, which if we do the math, paid that person probably roughly about, I don't know, $20,000, $25,000 by my math, okay, for lies. This person got paid 25 grand to tell lies on their YouTube channel. So guess what everybody else did? Everybody else in that same window of full-time RVers, including one specific couple that always sits there like a couple of boring schmucks who've never worked a day in their life in an RV dealership, never even sold an RV in their life, who are brand ambassadors of a certain manufacturer and get paid by that manufacturer to say nothing but positive things, they decide, let's copycat that video so we can get that same 15, 20 grand because we're broke. And then the one person that did it fairly and correctly was Jason from RV Miles, because Jason's got no skin in the game. Jason's got plenty of stuff to talk about. Good content, good guy. Guy I'd one day I'd like to have a beer with. He did it pretty fairly. He was missing some information. So after watching his video, I decided I'm going to redo my due diligence, get a hold of the California Air Resource Board contact that I got. God dang, lost sirens today. And do my own video. And I was told I was full of crap. And the truth didn't go viral because the truth won't go viral because, well, let's face it. The truth isn't sexy. The truth doesn't get clicks. So this is the problem with the internet and the social media stuff. It really is. Like, you have some good content creators and you have some really, really retards. And I know that's not politically correct to say, but that's a reality. There are some real dumbass people out there that they have a cell phone and an internet connection. All of a sudden they think they're an influencer. I mean, it gets ridiculous. It gets to a point where I want to just like scream to the heavens at the top of my lungs and go, is everybody freaking nuts? So that's just the reality of it, okay? Nothing more, nothing less. But getting back to a lot of the social media stuff, I get asked a lot. So there's a dealership in California called Best RV. And the owner runs all his own social media. And guess who he follows? On both the podcast here and on the main channel and on TikTok. This guy. Why? Because if you go look at his content, he does some different things than I do. He does some different things than Josh does and Matt. And even Miles, M-Y-L-E-S. And even the RV Hunter. He does a really good job. The RV Hunter, to me, is probably our best short-form content creator in the industry. He's not very good when it comes to long-form, but all of his short-form stuff is absolutely outstanding, best in the industry. Everything from his 15-second videos to his 3-minute videos, he is absolutely the best of us. No one is better than him when it comes to short form. No one. But if you look at a lot of these guys that follow me, follow Josh, follow the RV Hunter, follow Matt, they're starting to hybrid themselves a little bit. The guys that are very successful with it are starting to do hybrid stuff. This is very true. So check it. I'm going to tell you what Camping World. Camping World's content is absolutely horrible, okay? I worked for Camping World for a little bit. And I have my YouTube channel. And it was still at the very early stages of my main channel where I still am experimenting, mostly on short form experimenting. But Camping World, it's just really, it's hard for a corporate. Here's what's difficult. Okay. And this is what I say about corporate RV dealership YouTubers. Okay. Now, there's now 47 of them. We grew by 3. There was 44. Now there's 47 of them. Okay. And the best example would be for a place like Camping World, or a place like Bish's, or a place like General, or a place like Funtown, or a place like Blue Compass. They have attorneys. And these attorneys don't want to get sued by OEMs. Okay. I will tell you one thing that will probably open up a little bit of a can of worms, but I guess it's worth it. When I had the falling out over this podcast with my former employer, that falling out was because a manufacturer basically threatened him. Okay. Not going to mention names, not going to go into all that. That's just, there's no need for that because it's all water under the bridge now. It literally is water under the bridge. It was nipped in the butt. I'm going to leave it at that. Okay. The OEM partnerships are very fragile because the manufacturers have been losing money for almost 3 years now. Just losing their butts. When we reach May of this year, it'll be 3 years straight that almost every single manufacturer out there has lost money. They have not turned an actual net profit over the last 3 years. Okay. That fragility is because a lot of things occurred over the last several years that slowed down the economy, slowed down the buying process, slowed down the ordering process, destroyed a lot of dealers, put a lot of dealers out of business. Now we're looking at Camping World possibly closing stores over the next year and a half, 2 years. We're looking at Blue Compass contracting and closing redundant stores. We're going to see we're not going to see the growth in the amount of locations anymore. We're going to see a massive contraction of locations since you're losing space overall because of closures and at the time, not so much anymore, but at the time, overstuffed dealers. You're beginning to see that the effectiveness of building to keep a profit going is not conducive to where we are right now. Next year, I could see them making a comeback and start making a profit again. Because by then, the way the economy's going, the way the market's going, we should be pretty clear of all the old inventory by end of summer, unless a dealership's a complete moron. Okay. But when I look at the big picture, when it comes to content on the internet for the RV industry, there needs to be more activity that is more consistent with what people are looking for. Like, here's an example. If I were Forest River, let's say I'm Doug Getter, I'm CEO of Forest River, I would hire the RV hunter away from the dealerships and make him my short form content creator for all the platforms, for all the brands. Wherever he lives, 2 weeks out of the month, he flies to Indiana, does primetime RV, like Columbus Fifth Wheels and Riverstone and Cedar Creek and all these bitchin' trailers and fifth wheels and some of the entry-level trailers as well, and make him your content creator for short-form Instagram Reels, Facebook Reels, TikTok videos, Snapchats. Build out an audience using the absolute best short-form content creator we have in our industry. Take advantage of this guy's skill. This guy has tremendous vision and tremendous skill at editing short-form content. I would take advantage of that. And unfortunately, the Camping Worlds and the Forest Rivers and the Coachmans and the Keystones and the Alliance actually has a pretty decent social media, but even like Genesis Supreme RV, okay? I've told Christian and Pablo for 3 years, I won't be their spokesperson, but I'm a big fan of their product. They're not perfect by any means, okay? But they keep up with the side-by-side industry and they keep up with the desert community. And to me, that's really important in a toy hauler and a toy hauler manufacturer. And because Forest River closed down their California plant, I just don't trust that process to continue with any manufacturer in Indiana. And again, I'm picking on Forest River because they're easier to pick on because they have a more broader range of actual inventory. They build everything from a high-line Riverstone type fifth wheel all the way down to a cheap little stick and tin Avenger from Primetime. And they build everything in between, including toy haulers and all kinds of stuff. Hybrids, big park models, tent trailers. I mean, they build all kinds of stuff. They have a very wide range catalog of available inventory to build. So it's a little easier for me to pick on them and use them as an example. It doesn't mean I don't like them. I like a lot of Forest River products. There are a few that I'm like, whatever. But there are a lot of stuff I'm a big fan of. Flagstaff Rockwood, Cedar Creek, Columbus Fifth Wheels, etc. These are things I'm fans of, right? But there are also some things that we have to look at, especially when it comes to the toy hauler community, which we'll talk about another time. There you go. So, when I look at, again, when we look at the big picture of where content creation should go, dealerships, here's another good example. How about this? Bobby Combs RV. Bobby Combs RV has, I think, 5 or 6 locations still. Are they the absolute best at content creation? No. But are they consistent with it? Absolutely. They are more consistent and better than 99% of dealers out there. Because the lady that was doing it, I actually had some opportunities to kind of share some of my knowledge a couple years ago with her. I wish I could sit down and do it with her again, but because she's actually like a sponge, and I've learned so much in the last 2 years. But again, one of those situations where they're not that great at it, but yet they're way better than 99% of the dealerships out there. And that's kind of pathetic, to be honest. Well, Larry, that is a COVID unit, and a lot of people told me that COVID units are horrible. So, I don't blame you. But, for the most part, like, I'm going to say 99% of people that I've talked to that own a Cedar Creek love it and will never buy or get anything else. So, but I understand there are those that, unfortunately, stuff is horrible and happens, and it's just sad that that's happened to you, and I'm sorry. So anyway, long story short, because I gotta get going here in about 5 minutes, we're at a point in 2025 where I think dealerships, manufacturers, salespeople, anybody involved in the industry needs to take a really hard look at what they're doing on social media. And with that being said, somebody made a recommendation to me. Big, huge YouTuber made a suggestion to me. And the suggestion to me is to offer my services to teach and train dealerships or manufacturers on how to do social media and social media marketing. Not do it for them, but teach them and do a master class on them. So I'm thinking about it. Thanks. I'm thinking about doing that. I'm thinking about doing some kind of class or Jesus criminy. Class or course on how to actually do social media marketing in the RV industry. And we'll see how that goes. I don't know if I'm going to do it or not, but I'll find out. So anyway, I gotta go pick up my reservation and start Ubering for the night. So until next time, remember the RV stands for toolkit and sense of humor. Have a good night.